The sapphire spark. Thomas Weber, a man who seemed to have everything, punched the steering wheel of his sleek Maserati in frustration. The luxury car, a testament to his success, was now just a smoking, useless heap on a desolate backroad. He had a crucial meeting in 17 minutes, one that would cement his legacy at Weber Enterprises. Sweat soaked his silk shirt as he opened the hood, a thick cloud of steam making him recoil. "Damn it," he muttered, pulling at his tie. His expensive Italian suit wasn't made for roadside repairs, and his knowledge of engines was non-existent. The irony wasn't lost on him. The man who controlled a business empire was completely helpless in front of a few wires and metal. A sputtering sound interrupted his despair. An old, beat-up pickup truck pulled up a few yards away. He watched skeptically as a woman with grease-stained jeans and a checkered shirt got out. Her dark skin glistened in the harsh sun, and her curly hair was pulled back into a messy bun. "Need some help?" she asked, her voice steady and confident. "I have a meeting in 15 minutes, he replied, not bothering to hide his irritation. "My assistant is sending help, but there's no signal out here." She didn't seem impressed by his status or his bad mood. Without a word, she leaned over the smoking engine, her hands moving with the practiced ease of a professional. "It's the cooling system," she diagnosed. "I can patch it up so you can make it to the city. It won't last long, but it'll get you a few hours." Thomas, still skeptical, gave her a once-over. "You sure about that?" "I'm a mechanic," she said dryly, holding his gaze. "My shop is 10 miles from here." She returned to her truck, grabbed a toolbox, and got to work. Her movements were precise and efficient. 5 more minutes, and you would have blown the engine," she commented without looking up. "These models are powerful, but surprisingly delicate, like some people." The indirect jab didn't escape him, but he was too anxious about his meeting to be offended. "How do you know so much about luxury cars working out here?" he started, catching himself before he finished the question. "In a forgotten town," she finished for him, glancing at him over her shoulder. "I read, I study, I care about my work. Excellence isn't exclusive to big cities, Mr. Weber." Thomas was taken aback. "How do you know who I am?" "Your picture is in the business section of the paper all the time," she replied simply. She slammed the hood shut. "There, that should get you into town." "I owe you," Thomas said, pulling out a wad of bills. "Please, take this as a thank you." As she reached for the money, he saw it. An antique silver ring with a small blue sapphire. It was surprisingly delicate for a mechanic's hands. He knew that ring. The world seemed to freeze. A flash of memory crossed his mind. A young girl with expressive eyes, a promise exchanged under a leafy oak tree. The last gift from his mother before she died. "Where did you get that ring?" he asked, his voice shaking. She instinctively curled her fingers around the jewel. "It was my mother's," she said cautiously. "Why do you ask?" The mechanic, whose name was Meyer, had no idea that 20 years ago, that same ring had been placed on her small hand by a boy who promised to come back for her. A boy who would become the man standing in front of her. Meyer's eyes hardened as she noticed Thomas's intense focus on the ring. She put the money in her pocket, turned away, and walked with purpose toward her truck. "If the car breaks down, the shop's 10 miles from here. First entrance after the Aurora City sign." "Your meeting, Mr. Weber," she reminded him coldly. "The investors are waiting." As the Maserati sped away, Meyer stood motionless. "He didn't recognize me," she murmured, her thumb stroking the ring. "After all this time, he just didn't see me." At her shop, Hope Mechanical, Meyer worked furiously on an engine, channeling her frustration into every movement. "You're going to destroy that carburetor," a tall, grey-haired man said cautiously. It was her uncle, Xavier. He showed up, with a broken-down car, like some cruel twist of fate. "Thomas Weber, the boy who promised to come back," Xavier said, his eyes narrowing. "The man who forgot," Meyer corrected, wiping her hands on a rag. "He looked right at me and saw only an anonymous mechanic." He recognized the ring, but not the girl who had kept it for 2 decades. That night, Meyer pulled out a wooden box from under her bed. Inside were newspaper clippings documenting Thomas Weber's rise, his face in articles about innovation, his recent engagement to Elise Harrington, an heiress to a fashion fortune. Tomorrow, he won't even remember the ring, she whispered to the empty room. But Maya was wrong. The next morning, an unassuming sedan pulled up outside her shop. Thomas got out, this time without his expensive suit. "We're open," Maya said, keeping her distance. "Actually, I came to return this," he replied, holding out his hand. In his palms sat a small carved wooden brooch, a bird with outstretched wings. Maya's world stopped. It was her first sculpture, given to Thomas as a goodbye gift. "Open Heart Orphanage, Orion section," he said softly. "You were the girl who taught me how to carve wood when all the other boys made fun of me. You promised you'd come back," Maya said, her voice barely a whisper. "I tried," Thomas replied, a dark shadow crossing his face. "4 years, but my father had other plans." Xavier emerged from the work area, wiping his hands on a cloth, his eyes full of suspicion. "So the young prince returns," he commented in a low voice. 20 years later, "I understand your mistrust, but I came to ask for a chance to explain," Thomas said. "Xavier rescued me when I left the orphanage," Maya explained. "He taught me everything I know, gave me a home when no one else would. Something I promised to do," Thomas acknowledged with visible regret. "Why now?" Maya challenged. After all this time, Thomas took a deep breath. "In 3 weeks, I'll officially announce my engagement to a woman I don't love, take over a company I detest, and complete my transformation into the man my father always demanded I be." He paused, a look of profound weariness on his face. "And then I saw you. Or rather, I saw the ring, and something stirred." His phone buzzed insistently. "Elise, 6th call. She seems persistent," Maya observed bitterly. "My jailer," he replied, hanging up. "Our marriage is a corporate merger disguised as romance. And what do you expect from me?" Maya asked, crossing her arms. "Absolution for abandoning me." "Answers," he said simply, "and maybe a chance to correct the biggest mistake of my life." What Thomas didn't reveal was the investigation he had started the night before, an obsessive search into Maya's past and the mysterious disappearance of documents related to the property that had once belonged to her family. And what Maya concealed was the file hidden in the back of her workshop, yellowed papers with the Weber Enterprises logo, signed by Thomas's father, detailing the fraudulent acquisition of the Alvera family's land, the same land where the new corporate complex, Thomas's legacy, now stood. As they stared at each other, neither realized their destinies were intertwined by more than childhood memories. They were linked by a conspiracy that had destroyed a family to build an empire. In 3 weeks, when Thomas was set to seal his future, Maya would finally reveal the truth that could tear down everything the Weber family had built on injustice and lies.